Yo guys, it's me, Josh2K here. I know you used to see me stream gameplay on 2K, but I thought I'd do something different in real life. So I'm going to be ranking the top 10 point guards of all time. If you want to see shooting guards, small forwards, power forwards, centers, etc., etc., and coaches maybe or something like that, make sure you go smash the like button and subscribe so I know you want it. Anyways, I won't be including AI, Big O, Oscar Robertson and Jerry West because I class them as different positions. I know a lot of people do class them as point guards, but I just think their game style fits better for different positions. So smash the like button, enjoy the ranking. So at number 10 we have Bob Cousy, a very old school player, a very talented player at the same time. He was a very good playmaker and a very good ball handler, and he also had a nice layer package as well. He led the way to the modern NBA with his phenomenal ball handling skills and his passing accuracy, as I've already said. But nevertheless, he's a very elite point guard, and I think he deserves his top 10 spot more than someone like Russell Westbrook, who is just not very consistent, unlike people like Bob Cousy. So at number 9 we have Gary Payton, the best defensive point guard, a very good finisher at the rim, a very good playmaker as well, as you can see from the highlights from a few of his passes, and a very creative player as well, and he had a decent jump shot. So, and he was the core for a team that went quite deep in the playoffs in the Supersonics. So at number 8 we have Walt Frazier, a very good finisher and a great all-around threat, really, a playmaker. He couldn't shoot the ball amazingly, but you know, not many people could at his time, so it wasn't very common to be a great shooter. And as a point guard, so at number 7, it may come as a surprise, but I've put Jason Kidd here. He was a very talented guard. He was quite tall, so he's good on the defensive end. Of course, we all know about his phenomenal passing abilities, and of course he won that championship with Dirk Nowitzki. He was very dangerous with Vince Carter on his. So here at number 6, it was very tight between him and number 5, but I've decided to go for Isaiah Thomas, the old Isaiah Thomas from the 80s and 90s. But nevertheless, he was the best playmaker in point guard before John Stockton came around. He held many records before John Stockton, including most assists and assists. So at number 5, a more modern point guard in Chris Paul. Of course, we all know Chris Paul is phenomenal. He is a very good ball handler. I'm not going to go on like a Steph Curry flight-ish thing here, but his handles were amazing. He is a top-class mid-range shooter. His passing is unheard of before him. So number 4 will be Steve Nash. He was probably one of the best true point guards of all time. He was a top-class shooter, very good ball handler and playmaker. He could finish at the rim very well. Of course, he isn't known for being an amazing scorer, but he was, and he done that whilst enjoying very high assist numbers as well, and it was just unheard of to see someone so dominant as someone so unathletic, as people would say. And one thing that people don't recognise Steve Nash as much as is a shooter, and I think he's one of the top 3 best. So coming in at number 3 of point guards all time is the chef, Steph Curry. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail for these top 3. I just think Steph, he's obviously the best shooter of all time. It's undisputed at this point. But what makes him a good point guard is his handles and finishing ability as well, you know. He's got some immense and ones in his highlights, and it's crazy to think that people just class him as a shooter. I'm not going to go on a Flight Reacts type rant going, look at Curry, man, he's so inspirational whenever like LeBron hits like a half-court shot or something like. But you get the point that he is a once-in-a-generation talent. He is up there with the top 20 best players of all time. He will definitely be much closer to the top when he retires. He's definitely going to be, in my opinion, he's going to pass number 2 when it's all said and done, if he can get a bit more team success or maybe another MVP or something, because Kevin Durant's gone. So when you look at it that way, it's kind of like, well, look at what he's done with Kevin Durant. And in 2015/16, it wasn't even in his prime, it was when he was 26, 27, I believe. So just to think of it that way, you know, it's quite scary because he's got so much time ahead of him. He's still got another, he doesn't have any signals of retiring. He's got like another 7-8 years of good basketball, because obviously he's a shooter, isn't he? So shoot, I guess. But Anyways, so coming in number 2 on our spot is John Stockton. The perfect point guard, the all-time leader in assists and steals by a margin. That record will never be touched in my lifetime. It is just crazy to think about how many assists and steals he got. But nevertheless, him and Karl Malone, the mailman, as some other people know him, they tore the league apart. If it wasn't for MJ, they would have won multiple rings. He would probably go down as the best point guard ever if he won rings, to be honest, and he'd be much higher in the top 10 players in history. In my opinion, he'd definitely be up there with Karl Malone. You know, it's just one of those things where MJ, he destroyed so many careers, didn't he? But John Stockton, nevertheless, he was the best passer of all time. He's one of the best ball handlers of all time, probably apart from like Kyrie and a couple of others. And there's only a few people right now that I see passing him in number 1, which is probably Kyrie Irving, if he can get some team success more and get MVP type season. And Ben Simmons, if he can get a jump shot and just become more consistent, really. But yeah, John Stockton is unbelievable. He deserves this number 2 spot, and it was tough not to put him at number 1, but number one's just number 1. So at number 1, you could have guessed by now, but it is of course Magic Johnson. Well, let's start. There's 5 main reasons why I think he's the number 1 point guard of all time. Number 5, his height. He dominated because he was taller and he had a bigger advantage on that end, and he could see the floor more, you know, it's kind of obvious. Number 4 is, of course, he had Larry Bird to spur him on, make him an even better player, and of course that sparked one of the best rivalries, if not the best rivalry in NBA history. So that's definitely something to part for it. In number 3, I would have to put team success. I mean, his team success was undeniable. I mean, he had a lot of players to help for that, such as Kareem, and multiple others. So it's one of those things, you know, where he had a lot of supporting cast, but that still don't make him any worse or any better. But the 2 main reasons why I think he is the best point guard of all time is because of his passing abilities and his selflessness. He was so selfless. He just wanted team success. That's all he wanted. He wanted to beat Larry Bird. He wanted to beat everyone that challenged him to, you know, prove himself, if that makes sense. Like, of course, he tested positive for HIV, came back 5 years later, and he still played amazingly. It was just one of those things like, what happens if he didn't have HIV? He'd probably be nearer to Michael Jordan than he is now, because my top 3 would probably undeniably be Michael Jordan first, probably Kareem second, Kobe third, then Magic Johnson, then not Kobe, LeBron. I think Larry Bird, anyways, not talking about Larry Bird, are we? That's another video. But definitely Magic Johnson is the best point guard ever by a margin. Apart from if Steph Curry can do something crazy in the last few years of his career, which it's not out of the order, but I don't see it happening to beat Magic. But nevertheless, hope you enjoyed the video. Smash that like button if you want to see shooting guards, and I'll see you later. Bye.